What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Boom Bap Bros podcast, episode number 2. So today I've got with me my co-hosts again, my brother ALEC.
What's up?
And the other bro, Raj. What's going on, Roger?
What's going on?
Well, I would just like to welcome everybody back to our podcast. This week we're just going to be doing more of a news episode and sharing different things that we've been listening to and the different releases that have come out since our last episode. So we're going to be mixing in album reviews, news episodes, top of the week, all sorts of different episodes you'll see coming out from us on the channel here and wherever you find your podcast. So welcome. We're glad you're here with us. So today we're going to be jumping in talking about Tyler, the Creator's new album, Call Me If You Get Lost. So it's an odd number year. You already know Tyler's dropping an album. He's on time every 2 years. And so he announced it this week going on Twitter. And he pretty much just had rolled out a single called Lumberjack. And it features DJ Drama and put out a video for it and everything. But then he released, and that was what, Wednesday when that dropped, or Tuesday or something like that.
It was a couple days ago.
But it was like middle of the week. He drops a song and then goes to announce his album, shows the cover and everything, and says it's coming out June 25th. So we don't have that far to wait. Like as of the recording of this, it's going to be out a week later. So that'll be our next episode, going in depth on Tyler and getting into his album. But just some background on Tyler. We won't get too deep into Tyler today, but he recently changed the album covers on his streaming services to the alternate covers because he's always shipped his stuff with a couple different covers. But that was sort of the draw to people saying, "Oh, Tyler's actually active." And yeah, I was just going to see what you guys thought about that track Lumberjack and if you're looking forward to his album. I mean, I love Tyler, the Creator, so I'm always looking forward to his new music coming out.
Well, I think it's kind of obvious I'm excited. I got the donut shirt on. So, yeah,
Nice.
I've been a stan ever since I started listening, since, like, you showed me him, like, in high school. So,
Right.
I'm really hyped for his new stuff. And I'm excited because that track was pretty good. He's back on his rapping.
Yeah, for real. And Igor had not that much rap. It was mostly singing. So I'm sure we'll get a mix here, but I'm just looking forward to it. But I'm curious to hear what Roger has to say about Tyler because he's not that big of a fan. Could give a little bit of an outside perspective.
I wouldn't say that I'm not so much of a fan. I don't indulge enough to speak so much about him. But I mean, I know a couple of his popular tracks. But this more recent one, Lumberjack, was pretty good. It was short and sweet, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if most of the tracks on the new album are shorter, but I mean, Tyler does deliver some long songs every once in a while that are like split up.
Well, talking like that, like this song reminded me of kind of his rollout with Flower Boy before Igor, how he came out with Who Dat Boy. Because I feel like this one's like kind of in that lane of like he's coming out like that. And like on that album he rapped a lot, but like on each song it was like him rapping for like a minute or something. And then there's like it would be like a 3-4 minute song, but like he's only rapping for like a minute of it. But then it would have like all this other like stuff and like features and collaborators on there.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes with this. I mean, if he lands good with this one, his run from Flower Boy to Igor to Call Me If You Get Lost will be like undefeated in his more mainstream era. Because I feel like you got to split up the Tyler eras, right? There's the edgy era, which is probably like his first 2 projects, Bastard and Goblin. And then there is the sort of transitional period, getting popular, Wolf and Cherry Bomb. And then you get into the next, I didn't even know if you could really group them because they're so different. But he's always got a 2-year, distance between his projects. So I feel like if he lands it with Call Me If You Get Lost, this 3-album run, I mean, I don't dislike any of his albums, so I would just say his whole discography is great. But if he lands this one, the 3-album run will be impeccable, and you can't argue that he's one of the mainstays in not even just hip-hop music, but just music right now. I think Igor elevated him to a whole nother level.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like like around like Flower like I feel like it was broken up like his early ones like Bastard Goblin, then like Wolf Cherry Bomb. Like those two are like really different, but like between the two of them. But I feel like those two are kind of like grouped together in
Same,
era of
yeah,
like
era.
because he kind of evolved, adding a lot of like jazz influences on Wolf, and then kind of expanded that to like a bunch of different genres, like expanding into in Cherry Bomb. But then yeah, like Flower Boy, he gained a ton of fans from that. Igor gained a ton of fans from that. Then I think that'll probably just keep going from here. He's just going.
Super mainstream now, but I mean, I've been a fan forever, so love to see it, and looking forward to reviewing that album next week. We spent a good amount of time already talking about it today, so if you want to listen to more, check out our next episode. But speaking of our episodes, our first one was over the off season, J. Cole's project, and the first week numbers are in. It's been a while now since the album's been out, but he did really well the first week, pushing 282,000 units. So that's really good. Even though the music industry is crazy right now, only 37,000 pure sales out of that album, out of the 282,000 sales that were counted. So good for Cole. I mean, congrats to him, seriously.
Yeah, it's just all gone to streaming now with how it is. Like, there's barely anyone that gets physicals.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, he's really kicking it off. It's looking good for that.
Yeah, I listened to the album a little bit, too much right off rip. I was playing probably the whole album all the way through multiple times a day. And then I was like, well, I don't want to burn myself out on it. So then I decided to take a short little break from it. And now I've been listening to it again recently because I've been, driving around a lot. And I always listen to music in the car, but, got to have that in the rotation.
Yeah, since our episode, actually, he's dropped 2 more videos. We talked about the Amari video and broke down some shots and stuff, but he's also dropped Applying Pressure and Punching the Clock, which are some of the great tracks from that album. I mean, I really like the tracks that he chose to do the videos for, but I'm just really happy with this rollout too. Like, the album is on its way. He drops a single and then a video right after the album drops, and then it was like the next couple of weeks he dropped a video alongside. So if we see any more videos, we'll get spoiled, but 3 videos from this project of 12 great tracks, I'm happy with. Like, J. Cole did his thing, and now he can go into, back into reclusiveness until like a couple years from now, probably. We'll see.
Yeah, but by the next one, the dreads are going to be at his waist, probably.
Oh my god.
Hey man, the more homeless he looks, the better it's gonna be.
Honestly,
you think so?
That's
Yeah.
Gosh, I was surprised though with the songs he chose for the videos. Like, I thought for one of them at least, the song of 21 Savage, I thought that would get a video by now. I thought that would definitely be one of them, but I guess it hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if we get any more videos. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just these 3 and that was that. But yeah, like he didn't do any of the songs with features really for videos, which is surprising. You would think like the more singles type songs that he would want to promote with a video, but
well, I guess Amari was like that type.
That would have been the one, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first video that came out. The other 2 were much more like low budget videos too.
Yeah.
They were just like shot on location and stuff, where the Amari video was a lot of production put into it. But yeah, I'm super happy with the off season and how it's come about. And now that Cole's sort of opened the floodgates, I feel like everyone's dropping, and it's just going to be a ton of music for us to talk about and review.
Like Lloyd Banks.
One of our favorite artists on this podcast, Logic, he's come out of retirement after just less than a year. So No Pressure drops July 24th, 2020. And then today, June 18th, 2021, less than a year, like 11 months, he's coming out of retirement. But he talks about coming out of, but he talks about leaving the industry with his retirement, not necessarily leaving music. So he was on the YouTube channel, Bobby's World. He was releasing all sorts of music on there under the duo of Magic, which is with Madlib and Logic. He even released some stuff that's either titled Logic or his government name, Bobby Hall. Like, he was just putting a ton of stuff out on YouTube for free. I'm not sure if it's on SoundCloud or any other free platforms, but it seems like he was just leaving the industry of putting out music commercially and instead just trying to get it direct to the fans that were enjoying it and wanting it, and not hearing all of the buzz and the talk that we obviously do on this podcast about music. So it's interesting to see him coming back now with the track aptly titled Intro. What do you guys take on this track that dropped today?
I thought it was pretty cool. It was kind of short and sweet, just bars in there, and it was cool because like he had the lyric in there talking about how like the first like half of it was written when he was like 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it like goes like the second half of it was like the new stuff he wrote now. So I thought that was a cool like merge into the two like styles that he's had.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to be the intro to an album or if this is just his introduction back to the industry. That's sort of what I saw it as, with sort of the foresight and like the mindset coming in of he retired from the industry last year. He never retired from making music, you know. But now he's back in the industry. This song is not on that YouTube channel I was just talking about. It is on streaming services. You can go listen to it there, but you cannot go listen to it for free on his YouTube channel that he's been putting out music this whole year. So not sure what we're going to be getting from him. I don't know if there's any more tracks coming, but we know that he's going to be putting out music. So knowing that he was coming back with this intro, I didn't think that he was going to just release it on streaming and have that be it, but apparently that's what he's doing now. He's going away from sort of the path that he was before, giving the fans free music, and now going back to the traditional channels of streaming and that type of thing. So what are your guys' thoughts on this intro?
I thought it was good. I don't know. There was something about the production that really reminded me of, obviously, like the off season. For some reason, I don't know. I was getting J. Cole vibes from that track for some reason, but I thought it was good. I'm glad that he's coming back and he just wants to make music independently now instead of working for the man. But he's made all the money he needed to make, and now he can just put out great music.
Yeah, and he even name dropped Cole in there. What was the line? It's a cold world, like I'm from the Ville. Let that last line chill, something like that.
Yeah.
Play, but Logic, I feel like, resorts to name dropping Cole or name dropping specific stuff sometimes, where I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like more of the same, where I would wish he would branch out, do something a little different, but.
Yeah, I think he does get criticism for that, like that, and kind of just like how he emulates like styles of other artists. He like interpolates his influences into like his stuff. I think people like gang up on him for like that type of thing, but it's like, oh, that's just kind of like his style.
I mean, the best artists steal.
Honestly,
that's just a gem I'll drop in here for you, you all listeners.
Like Drake, man, and have it your way.
With all the Magic singles releasing, though, I was not expecting him to put out his return to the industry before the Magic album, though. It's like all the Magic tracks were just Lucy's and just random stuff. I wanted to see how it would fit into like a track list before I really even really listened to him that much. I probably spun each of them maybe once or twice, but yeah, Magic needs to release an actual project, mixtape, album, however you want to do it. I'll listen to it then and actually get to appreciate the music.
Well, I think Madlib did production on this intro too.
I thought it was 6. It could have been a collection.
But I thought it was Madlib, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that it was 6. I don't think Madlib touched this intro, but
oh dang.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see from Logic as the summer keeps going. It's been less than a year since his last album came out, so looking forward to more tracks now that he's back in the industry, and I hope that he sort of rectifies his struggles with the man controlling his music a little bit. I mean, he's always had creative control, so
yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'd be super hyped for a Magic album, just considering with like the Mad Lib and like Freddie Gibb collabs. Like I love those. So like him and Logic together, that would be really cool.
All right, Raj, how about you run down all of the releases that have come out since our last episode, and we can sort of give our input on each one.
I guess the first album we have since the release of the off season is Culture 3 by Migos. I listened to the first few tracks. I thought it was pretty fire, not gonna lie. So I think it has some hope. Once I give it a full listen through and a couple times over. But what do you guys think of that one so far?
Yeah, I still need to give it a chance. I mean, most of the reactions I read online were that it was sort of more of the same Migos, maybe better than Culture 2 is what I read, but I like some of their tracks. I'm not really willing to sit down to a whole album of theirs just because it's not that much content to really go through. It's a lot of the same stuff. But if there's some tracks that you guys could recommend, I would definitely check them out. But don't see myself sitting down to listen to the whole thing, especially when they just dropped a deluxe. Like the album came out last week and they already dropped a deluxe with way more tracks. So I don't know what they're even thinking.
They're hungry.
I usually check out the Migos stuff. I've just been swamped lately. Like I feel like the last couple weeks there's just been a ton of music coming out, and I'm like working my way to get around to all of it. Like I've just been getting around to like the singles and stuff, and I'm like, there's all these projects coming out that I haven't gotten around to. Like I saw Migos, and then like just today I saw Gucci Mane's coming out, and I'm like, I got a ton to listen to. But I haven't checked any reviews or anything, but I asked my friend about it, and he was telling me that it was like good, but like nothing spectacular. But yeah, he said about same thing like that, and that it was like better than 2 still, because like Culture 2 had some really good songs on it, but it was just bloated. Like if you would have just taken like the like 10 or 12 like really good songs out of like it was like 20 something. Like if you would have just taken those and made it an album, would have been a great album.
No, see, I think Takeoff is gonna carry the album. Like I think he might be the best Migo, not gonna lie.
He's underrated.
He's slept on, he's underrated, he's lyrical.
Dude. But did they leave him off Bad and Bougie though?
I don't know. They all sound the same. They all sound so close. I don't know. I barely pay attention to who's singing what unless they're saying like their name.
I'm dead.
Oh my god. I feel like that's a common theme though with albums coming out is they're just bloated, and like why release a deluxe with 5 more tracks when you know people are already skipping tracks on your album that aren't even like bonus tracks. You know what I mean? It's like that really needs to stop. Just release more projects and have them be slimmer. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Or you could just release more projects and have them bloated. Go the Gucci Mane route.
Just release 5 times a year.
Yeah, like 100 tracks a year. Like you're good.
Oh my god. Well, another album that I honestly wish that we did a review on, but rest in peace DMX. His last album that was actually done before his passing, Exodus, has released, and I read a stat that it's only like 45% him on the tracks. And there's so many features that it's like 55% features. But apparently the album was completed before his passing, so it had his blessing, and this will be the last album from him. But rest in peace, DMX, legend, really.
For sure. I hadn't checked it out. Who all are like the features on there? Is it like more like his generation artists, or is like there new guys on there?
I think there's more his generation artists.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Jay-Z, Nas. Who else is on there? It's like something about money bags or something. There's somebody. I don't know. I don't know if that was like a mistake or what, but I don't know. There was some people I didn't recognize, but most of them were recognizable, like older generation for sure.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, the new generation, Polo G dropped his album Hall of Fame. That if you've seen the album cover, it was getting clowned on Twitter. Like people did not like this album cover. I have listened to a couple tracks from the album, and I like Polo G. Like I will vouch for Polo G. He's cool. Some of his beat selection could be better, and that's my only real gripes about it. I still got to give that album some spins though, just to give him a chance, because I do think he has a lot of good potential.
Yeah, I haven't checked out that. I have like one Polo G song in my playlist, but other than that, I haven't checked him out. I've only heard like one of his songs.
The first track on that new album goes hard. Not gonna lie, I do like Polo G a lot. He's got a couple good. He's definitely got some good tracks. It's like on a separate hip hop playlist that I don't listen to as often, but like he's on there, and every once in a while I gravitate that way.
He's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on.
Oh, I
He's on
think
there.
it's I think it's Gang with Me. I think that's the one that's in my
the track.
playlist. Yeah.
Well, other releases, we've got Lil Durk and Lil Baby, The Voice of the Heroes. I haven't spun this through either, but I like both artists. I need some song recommendations because I'm probably not going to sit down and listen to the whole thing, to be honest.
I've heard good things about that one, especially with like I've heard good things about like both those dudes individually, but I've heard a lot of good things about that album. So I might listen to that one all the way through. I just need to find the time for it.
Yeah, for real. And then the last album on here is highly anticipated in my book, but I need to give it some spins because it just released today. But Her released Back of My Mind, and Amelia, my better half, loves Her, loves all of the songs that she's put out, and she's had a phenomenal year. So I'm sure that this album is going to be really good, and I'm looking forward to listening to it, like probably as soon as we get done with this broadcast.
I haven't really listened to Her, so I know nothing about her.
Roger, you checked a couple tracks out here, haven't you?
Yeah, there was a couple of tracks on there that were pretty good. I tried to hit the first couple of tracks. I like the Corday feature. That was a good song. There was a feature with Tory Lanez that was good. But I knew her, like I didn't know who she was until I saw her playing guitar like live on TV or something, and also that song she did with Daniel Caesar. Other than that, I wasn't familiar with her until that.
No, she's a great
she's
artist.
good.
I just want to see her succeed because I think she's just and she's our age. Like she's 22, 23. So and she's on national TV. She's, she's super talented. Wish her all the best. Looking forward to listening to her album.
Agreed. I gotta give it some
Alec,
more.
why don't you go ahead and talk about the new Isaiah Rashad single and video, Headshots, and then he's also put out some other music in anticipation of his new album coming up.
Yeah, so I was excited about that. I gave that a listen the other day. Yeah, for the locals. That was a pretty good one. It's like a vibes track. It's kind of repetitive and like kind of it kind of like the like lo-fi beats to study to, like that type of thing. But like yeah, I thought it was pretty groovy, pretty chill, and like after a couple listens, it's already in the Fly Honey playlist too, so you already know how it is. But I only got into Isaiah Rashad recently. Like I had totally like not checked him out over the last like however many years, and then I heard that he's finally coming back with like some new stuff, and like a lot of people I knew were talking like, "Oh, Isaiah Rashad's coming back." I was like, "Well, I bet it's time. I better like go back check his stuff out." And that Sevilla demo, that is freaking nuts good, and like Sun's Tirade's pretty good too, but Sevilla demo, I was blown away.
Yeah, as Isaiah Rashad puts out consistent quality music, but it seems like it's been a battle for him just to get music out in the first place. Recently, as his new songs have been coming out, he did an interview that I read where he had talked about, he had a ton of yes men around him, people leeching off him for, money, all the stuff that's going on, and just trying to have a terrible environment for someone trying to create music and be successful in their passion. So I'm glad that he's got stuff turned around. It seems like he's also had some mental health struggles and things. So our hearts definitely go out to him because he's a great artist. Like we want to hear more stuff from Top Dog in general. And if Isaiah is going to be putting out the stuff first, then let's go with it and hope that more TDE stuff is to follow. But even that single that he put out, it was probably last year. I bumped that a ton. That was a really good track. And it was just a loose one, too, where the two that he's put out recently are coming up in his new album. So looking forward to listening to that, and we'll probably do a video on that, either just recapping here or we could do a full album review. It's really up to you guys. But I think he is an artist that warrants in-depth looking into his past as a career and how he's got to where he is now. And I, like, just like you, I hadn't been that big a fan of him in the past, but I think his vibes of more just like laid back rapping and just letting the beat sort of carry the song. Like, I was just listening to the new one in the car today, and it was just a vibe that he wasn't super predominantly the focus of, but the track was just a vibe, and I just really appreciated it.
Yeah, and I thought I don't know if you can call it, like, it's a video, but like the kind of like music loop video thing he had with, I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, I really like Isaiah Rashad. I think of the lyrical people of our generation, like in the top 10, like along with, Cole and Kendrick being like probably at the top. I think he's in there, honestly. Like, I really, really think he's got talent.
He's got some lyrical content for sure, but I feel like how his music is mixed, he's never the forefront of the track. Like, maybe sometimes, but it's not that often, especially with the new stuff that's come out. It's definitely like a vibe where the beat carries it, and it's throughout, not the focus. The lyrics aren't the focus of the track. But yeah, I do think he does have some bars that people need to appreciate. Like, he needs his recognition, and I hope now that he's putting out more music that he gets it,
Yeah, that sort of vibe thing you were describing there reminds me of kind of like Tribe. How like a lot of it is like the instrumental is like just as important in there. Like, the voice is kind of just another one of the instruments that are all together in there. And like, he's got the lyricism that they had too.
Yeah, looking forward to his album. Do we have a title for that? I don't even think we do. I could look it up.
Not from what I've seen so far.
Nope, no title for it. So he's putting out songs though, so looking forward to listening to his album.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm like about equally excited as like hearing new stuff from him as like that being the floodgates for the rest of TDE to finally start dropping. Like, I need some new Kendrick, I need some new SZA, need some new Schoolboy, need some new J-Rock, need some new Absol. Everyone, come on in. We need it.
Like, it's been a drought after last year, so I'm glad the floodgates are opening and we're getting more music finally. And one of our other highly anticipated artists that we really like, I've been to his show in Iowa City, Iowa, Vince Staples. So he put out a new single and video, Law of Averages, and his album's on the way. So, Alec, why don't you take it away? You've done some research on the Vince Staples.
Yeah, so, the new video that came out, it was really cool. It was just kind of like a lot of just like him and like other like homies and stuff from his like it look I couldn't tell if they were in Long Beach, but it looked like Long Beach. But and the OF legend Mike G was in there. But yeah, it was a really cool video, and like how you like move the camera around, and like how it was like doing a lot of these drone shots and stuff, and how it was like really like blue toned, because he's always repping. But yeah, I thought that was really cool, and I was intrigued because the beat on this new song was like it used a sample in there, and it was like the way the sample was integrated in there, like his beats that he's like used to been on like aren't really that type where they integrate samples like that. A lot of that are just like
this does not sound like a Vince Staples track. Like the beat and the vibe and everything, it's definitely a new sound, and I'm here for it just because I think anything he does is super creative, and like I've been a fan since like that show that I'm talking about. That was in 2014, so I've been a fan for so long, and I'm looking forward to hearing more Vince Staples.
Really? When I think of Vince Staples, I think of his contribution to the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 on that one song he had. Like,
that's it. You see, you're not an early fan.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that's all I've listened to. I'm saying that's just like what I think of when I think of Vince Staples.
Because like you listen to that a ton though.
Like his stuff, like his beginning stuff. Like I've heard some of his older things that are a bit more lyrical. So like, his newer one felt like that, but with a touch of production, a little more production.
Yeah, bro. His verses on Revenge of the Dreamers are probably his two worst verses he's ever put out. Like that are like on stream.
Damn.
But they're still on songs that are in my playlist. So, like, but those are like two of like some of his like least awesome verses.
You say that they're a bit weaker compared to his other music.
Yeah.
I love his solo music, so I'm down for Law of Averages. That's probably not going to be the name of the project, is it?
No, the name of the project is just going to be Vince Staples.
Oh, so it's a self-titled album.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we haven't confirmed that information yet. We were digging online to see if that was verified anywhere, but as of today, that's what they're saying is it's going to be a self-titled Vince Staples album.
Yeah, I think the stuff on there was from some interview, but I couldn't find the original source on there. But yeah, it's exciting because like this is his first stuff he's having coming out since he had like some singles in 2019 for like the Vince Staples show thing and like with some videos for that.
Well, and why was the Vince Staples show not a project? Seriously, all those tracks, like I enjoyed every single one of them. He should have at least put out like an eight track project with them or something, or just give the fans something. Seriously, man.
I thought that would have been cool, but
I really liked Summertime '06 though.
That album is a classic.
Yeah, I think that's probably his masterpiece at the moment. Like I think Summertime '06 is a
that album is a classic.
It's immaculate. I don't even know how. Like I've probably listened to that album maybe like 50 times by now.
I wouldn't dish out classic so easily. I don't know.
I dish out classic pretty easily.
Yeah, you know who our other co-host is here. He'll call an album he'll call the off season a classic.
Well, it is.
You don't think it's a classic, Pat? What?
Well, it might be, but we don't give it any time to sit before we call it a classic. At least Summertime '06 came out in 2014. You know what I mean? Like, at least we've had some time to sit with that album to call it a classic.
When I think of classic, I really think of we're not. You know what? We're not even gonna go off on that tangent. Let's just.
When I think of classic, I think of 90s hip hop albums that have stood the test of time. I think if an album stands the test of time and is not only important in the artist's career, but important as a general like landmark in the music landscape, I feel like that's what will make it a classic. J. Cole's definitely gotten both of those bases covered with the off season, so it's statured to be a classic, let's be honest. But those are like my two qualifications to make sure that it's a classic.
Yeah, mine's a little more liberal. My applications for a classic are basically like, I don't know, just kind of like at a certain point where if it's one of those ones where I just keep going, but like if it's where it's one of those times where I'm like, I've been listening to my playlist for a while and I'm like, I feel like switching it up, putting on an album. If it's one of those albums that I like keep going back to. Like the ones like pretty much any of Kanye's albums, like half of J. Cole's albums, like a bunch of Tyler albums, like they're just the ones that I keep going back and back to listening to, like whenever I'm like getting out of a funk of just listening to everything.
See, I would call those my favorite albums, not necessarily classics, but we can disagree.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
I think that wraps up all of the music that we wanted to talk about on this episode of the podcast. Is there anything else that you guys got going on you want to talk about? This is our personal and other media section of the show.
Well, before we go out all the way, I'll give you a sec, Raj. But Vince Staples, he's also supposed to be having a second album after this one come out.
Here, re-say that so I can clean cut it in.
Okay, how should I? Just from here. All right. So actually, Vince Staples has another album supposed to be coming out after this one that he's doing with Kenny Beats, and so he's supposed to be having that, and he's also supposed to be having a Netflix show coming out too. So that might be like kind of an extension of the Vince Staples show thing he had, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see how it all rolls out. I'm looking forward to it, and I think Vince Staples can do no wrong, to be honest.
Well, I just want to add that, like, if anybody, like, I think, if anybody listening to anything, like, we probably have a lot of people, like, you know, some people that listen to our shows probably, like, you know, listens to more than just hip hop, but I think a really good project, you know, that I've been listening to a lot. It's pretty short. It's the one by Eric the Architect, you know, from Flatbush Zombies, you know, Beast Coast. Yeah, that the Future Proof EP. I think that's a really good listen.
Yeah, and you put me onto that too, and I liked him as probably my favorite member of the Flatbush Zombies before, and like definitely top 3 in all of Beast Coast, that group. So I'm glad that you put me onto that project, because Eric the Architect did his thing there, and I'm looking forward to more solo work from him, because like that was a short one. Like we could get a full album from him that I would be interested to listen to front to back, just because of how good that short project was. So yeah, I think the Flatbush Zombies in general were already a cool group, and he's my favorite member.
And also, that Lloyd Banks album, fire.
Yeah, what's the name of that? I was about to include that in our show notes, but didn't end up doing that because I'm not too familiar with his music.
So the album is called The Course of the Inevitable. Bro, it's grimy. It's grimy, but it's so good.
What, it's like a darker sound?
He's got a real gritty voice. Like his voice is very like, you know,
like a Dave East type vibe.
Man. Yeah, Dave East, or and even Method Man, like just like the raspy-ish voice. But like, dude, it's good. It's really good. I think I skipped one song.
Wow.
Like the rest were added to my playlist.
Nice.
I thought it was that good.
I'll have to check it out then. High praise.
Classic? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm not throwing stuff out like that. I don't know.
Any other music recommendations or notes that we have before going into the other side of the show?
I had maybe one more. I've been listening to a lot of stuff.
No, this is the time to share that.
Let's see. It was. Maybe I don't have anything new. I mean, I guess the next newest thing I had added was the Kemba stuff, but.
Oh my god! I almost forgot. What I've probably been listening to more than anything else this week, and I'll probably out myself by saying this too. Like I'm definitely catching the heat from this, but it's totally fine. The In the Heights soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
After In the Heights dropped, I saw it in theater, and then I saw it on HBO Max. And me being a big Lin-Manuel Miranda fan, but not super familiar with his older work, like I've more become a fan of him seeing the Hulu documentary on Freestyle Love Supreme, his improv freestyle group. And I feel like that really made me gain respect as an MC to him, but also just a writer, because I know that he's put in work with Hamilton, and In the Heights was before Hamilton, obviously on Broadway, but the movie for In the Heights just excelled it to another level for me. And you can tell it's really professionally done with the album that coincided with the movie. And I love it. Like, not gonna lie, I've just been singing a ton of those songs in my head, just re-listening through the album. And I'm not even that big of a musical guy. Like, I used to be somebody where I wouldn't think that musicals were corny, but I wouldn't like go out of my way to enjoy them or like seek them out for that type of media that I'm looking for. But I'm a Lin-Manuel Miranda fan first, and In the Heights was really good, and it has hip hop elements in it, of course. So
I second that.
Really enjoyable for me.
Yeah, I second that. That was a great movie, a musical.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying that on Blu-ray once I can.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you showed me that. The crap, that one part of that one song where it's like na security deposit, that's been stuck in my head.
Oh no, that's so the In the Heights title track, if you just listen to that enough times, it'll literally be burned into your brain to where you'll just like sing it from the beginning to the end, like just in your head, because it's that I just think it's that good. And it jumps into characters too. Like I just, not being super familiar with musicals, can really commend and appreciate the writing of long form tracks from different characters' perspectives. True, I just think that's awesome. And I would love to see, like, I loved when Tyler did that. Like,
facts.
I would love to see more, not necessarily mainstream, but more hip hop people doing stuff inspired by musicals, inspired by different characters, you know, coming up in the narrative to sort of shape a story. I just really enjoyed it, and I recommend everybody check it out on HBO Max until next month when it's not there, and then you could be like me and buy it on Blu-ray and enjoy it at home. So the album's really good. You can check that out on streaming right now. So In the Heights. But I just outed myself as a theater. I'm not even a theater geek. But no, I just outed myself for sure.
Enthusiast.
Yeah, I'm just so hyped with this album. I'm just really enjoying it.
I haven't even seen all of Hamilton, so I out myself there.
Dude, I've never seen Hamilton either.
I've listened to Hamilton more than I've. Well, it's on
HBO.
No, it's on Disney Plus. You can watch all of Hamilton on Disney Plus if you want, but obviously we didn't go see it on fucking Broadway. So I've listened to the album, and like it's hip hop inspired too, for sure. Yeah. So Hamilton, the album's good, but Lin-Manuel Miranda, I feel like, is doing great work, and I'm looking forward to more of it. And I don't know what medium he's even going to be working in the future. Like, he's done tons of stage work, now going into movies and other music production stuff. So whatever he does, I'll listen to it.
Go to a show.
All right, so moving on from the music portion of our show, going into other media and different news, personal news, different stuff we have going on. As we just talked about, In the Heights, it's more of a movie than, I guess, an album, but had an album come out alongside it. But now just moving into straight to streaming TV, we just talked about Disney Plus, but Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to get your guys' take on, now that the first 2 episodes have come out. I know Roger hasn't seen the second episode, so we can't spoil that or talk much about it, but what were your guys' impression on this series? How'd you like it?
I thought it was really good. I was still surprised that it got more streams than the other 2 Marvel shows that just came out, especially Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But yeah, I mean, I still really enjoyed it. I still have to watch the second episode. I'm pretty excited to watch that. But I like, one thing I like a lot about the shows right now is that they're very good at incorporating, or that like blending it with the movies and stuff, so that like they'll throw that movie scene in there that connects perfectly into the next scene that's now the beginning of the show, and just the flashbacks and stuff. You know, I really appreciate it. And then Loki, they do it really well. I think they do it more than, you know, a lot of the other the Marvel
they have to, almost, because that character is straight pulled out of Avengers 1, so 2012 MCU. But in the first episode, especially, it was just tons of exposition. So they needed to do those callbacks, and they needed to sort of establish where we're at so they could, you know, go forth. Like episode 2 doesn't have nearly as much exposition, I don't think. And the first one really does a good job of explaining why we haven't heard of the Time Variance Authority at all, why we don't know much about the Timekeepers, and here's sort of the status quo. Loki's in the TVA, and he's going to be tracking down the alternate Loki. So, I mean, the second episode was pretty much them going and doing that tracking down, and they find the variant Loki by the end of that episode. So, no spoilers here, but I'm excited to keep watching the show. It's got me hooked.
Yeah. More than anything, I've just been loving Owen Wilson on there. I'm just hoping at some point before the show ends, he lets off a good wow in there.
Oh my god! When we start using sound bites more, we definitely are getting an Owen Wilson wow.
Yeah, we need a wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, him as Mobius is a great casting. Number one, just because he's a super likable guy, and 2, his character doesn't have too much depth. Like, by the second episode, you know everything about his character for the most part. So I'm excited to learn more. I mean, I don't know if that character will survive the series because I don't know how much of the TVA we're even going to see after this series is over. But I'm looking forward to more multiverse stuff because I love reading about that stuff in comics. And having a take on that in the MCU, I never would have guessed would have happened, especially with the Loki character. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to more episodes.
Yeah. I think it's kind of funny how they have Mobius in there, like how he's been interacting with Loki, because he's kind of like an audience like surrogate in there, where he's been like probably like, what makes you tick, Loki, and like doing like all this like theorizing and stuff like a super fan would.
Yeah, just like a Marvel super fan would on Twitter or whatever, just be thinking about all the details and how everything works. But that really goes to show that the people that work on the MCU define every last little detail to where they don't have questions anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like they put all the answers either in their, grand plan where they don't really have to question what they're alluding to. They know what they're alluding to for the future. And that has probably been the best part of the MCU just in general, is that they always have like an idea of what they're alluding to, where this character is going to be going next, just a general idea that they can build upon in other media properties, like now the TV shows that are wrapping into the movies really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thought it was good. I'll have to watch the second episode tonight, maybe. Definitely. Yeah, I'll get straight to it. What's the next Marvel show coming after, or movie or whatever?
The next movie is Black Widow.
Black
Widow's coming out at like the end of this summer, which has taken forever to come out since it didn't come out last year. And then after that, it's Shang-Chi, and then we have Spider-Man.
Oh, that's what
quick,
I'm most
seriously.
for.
Oh, actually, no, the Eternals.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask when the Eternals were.
That's
okay,
that's like November,
so that's
and then
before Spider-Man?
Spider-Man's in December.
Oh. Yeah, no, I just need Spider-Man.
I do too, because if it's true, well, we know for sure that Doc Ock is coming back, because that whole can of worms has been spilled already. So it's got to be a multiversal story with Spider-Man.
If I get Toby, I'm a freak.
I'll probably cry. To be honest, our childhood Spider-Man,
the Spider-Man.
I don't know if
it's
the Spider-Man.
But our childhood Spider-Man coming back would be insane.
Tobey Maguire. Spider-Man like 45 now.
Andrew Garfield's there too, but
yeah, Andrew Garfield's there too. I mean, the second
he was Shadow Man, wasn't he?
Was okay. I haven't seen him in anything like since the Spider-Man movies ended. I have not seen a movie with him in it.
I liked him in The Social Network.
The Social Network.
He was in
cringe.
Wasn't he in?
What? I like that movie.
He was in that one movie.
But...
He played that soldier.
Oh yeah. What was that?
That was after Spider-Man. At least after the first one.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
That one's good.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That was really good, actually. He played that role really, really well.
Yeah, he's pretty good in there.
I'll give him that. He's got a couple good roles, I think, outside of Spider-Man. There's like one other one that I'm pretty sure I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good role.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that they get the praise they deserve and sort of a good send-off in this Spider-Man film so that we can tie up some loose ends with the Spider-Man movie universe and set a new status quo.
Are they going to bring a live-action Miles Morales in the multiverse?
Now
please.
That
he's the best Spider-Man, so no, okay, I can't really say that. He is my preferred Spider-Man because he has more powers and like his backstory is cool. If you've played the PS4, PS5 game, I guess, expansion with Miles Morales, then you know his character is really good. Well, even the regular Spider-Man game that came out with the PS4, his character was pretty fleshed out there. So I really enjoy Miles and would love to see him in live action, but doubt that's coming for at least 5 years.
Yeah. If we're getting live action Miles, we need Donald Glover as Prowler. We need it.
Well, he already is.
Well, I know, but like suited
in
up.
the movie.
Suited up. I need it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That would be crazy.
Nah. Forget it. Just kidding.
Well, aside from Marvel stuff, anything else you guys are really watching or anticipating in media and TV movies?
I really loved that Bo Burnham special.
Yeah, we should talk
really
about
freaking
that
cool.
inside Bo Burnham special. Have you seen that, Roger?
No, I have not.
Oh wow, man, it's dark. It takes place over the course of the pandemic and in one single room. I think from a musician's perspective, it's really cool because Bo does everything himself and he like formulates it all down into a super creative like process. But you can tell he is in a dark place. Like you can very much tell that this took a mental toll on him. But I enjoyed the special and the music was really good. The videos were good. He's releasing a lot of them on YouTube now. If you don't have a Netflix subscription and can't go check it out, but I would recommend everyone go check it out just for the perspective of someone going throughout the pandemic in one single room, trying to be creative every single day, and they got a special put out at the end of it all. But like, I don't know how Bo did it because I would have quit probably. Like, he has some mental fortitude to stay in that room and complete the damn thing.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, if I was you. No, can you go ahead, Alex? Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I was really impressed by that, and like it is kind of dark, but like I thought that was the most relatable like telling of the experience of that whole pandemic year. Like
for real,
I felt seen watching that. I was like, Bo, like I felt like connected.
Yeah, he stays pretty tapped in with the cultural zeitgeist. Like he's originally a YouTuber, so he was definitely like observing while trying to create at the same time.
Yeah.
So you should check it out, Roger. I feel like you would like
For
it,
sure.
but don't be in like a sad mood or anything. Just approach it with like a clean slate.
Now you gotta go and sad.
If you want to cry,
I need to
actually, it's
I need to watch
comedy, so I don't
True,
know.
yeah,
It's still
funny.
technically a comedy.
I need to watch that new Conjuring movie. That's what I'm looking forward to. Actually,
Conjuring?
we're talking about media. What? You're the haters.
No, I need to see The Quiet Place Part 2. That's what I actually need to see. I
gotta
Conjuring, whatever. Quiet Place, yes.
I still haven't seen the first one.
You haven't seen the first Quiet Place?
Never saw Bird Box either. I thought.
Well, nobody cares over Bird Box. That's over and done.
I thought both those were looked like gimmicky to me.
No,
Quiet Place is actually
Quiet
good.
Place actually holds up, and apparently from the reviews I've listened to, the second one is just as good if you watch them sequentially.
Oh, okay.
So I'll probably check out the first one again before I go see the second one in theaters. Now that we can go to theaters again.
Yeah.
You should watch Into the Tall Grass. That's a good movie.
What's that one?
It's like basically these people take this highway and there's these tall grass and they keep hearing people screaming in there, like needing help. But the craziest part about it is like they're hearing themselves because it's like this crazy paradox. Like when you go in, you're trapped in there, and then you become the people who lure the next set of people in.
Oh no!
While you're trying to get out, but the time's all over the place. Like if you me explaining it like that wouldn't even spoil the movie for you because that's like
it's just like the premise.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that, but like it's actually like super good.
That sounds cool.
Super
good.
It
does sound really cool.
Yeah,
You'll
it's
have
really
to
good.
send us where we can find it. But other stuff coming out that we're looking forward to. Can't really think of anything else worthy of mentioning. I mean, we'll talk about stuff as it comes out and we see it. We'll share our thoughts there, but lots anticipated now that the pandemic is behind us and we've got a bit more control of seeing things that are, like, we've got a bit more control of seeing things the way they were intended to, I feel like. With music coming out that artists can tour on, because that's a big incentive of putting an album out is I'm going to perform these tracks live for you then, where you can come see me and, you know, put money in my pocket. And also movies coming out meant to be seen in a widescreen theater projector with the surround sound and everything. So I'm just glad that we're back to some normalcy with the enjoyment of our media.
Yeah. And just like life in general, like I've been like working like with a mask off since I've been like fully vaccinated and seeing people come in with a mask off and everything. It's just like so refreshing.
It is weird though. Like I feel like mask etiquette is still really weird. It shouldn't be controversial, but I feel like I won't wear a mask into somewhere if I know that the employees aren't required to or something like that. Like if the employees are required to, then I'll probably want to stand in solidarity with them and wear a mask as well. But if it's like, okay, you don't have to wear a mask if you're vaccinated, I'll leave it in my pocket or something in case I need it. But it's just a really weird. It's weird to navigate, don't you think, Roger? It's like nobody has a basis of what's expected anymore.
But yeah, I just feel awkward going in places with masks or like, but I just usually carry it in my pocket no matter what. And you know, sometimes I don't wear it, sometimes I do, but I like to believe that I do it more than I don't. But that's just because it makes me feel more comfortable. But everywhere I go now, I feel like nobody's wearing masks, like even employees. And there's still just those knuckleheads who wear it wrong and don't cover their nose. Like, what's the point of wearing the mask if you wear it like that? Might as well wear it on your head.
Yeah.
But might as well wear it on your chin. You know?
I don't. That's the thing I've been most perplexed by. Like, I'll be chilling and like a bunch of people will be coming in. They'll like. A lot of them don't have masks because they're vaccinated now or they're like idiots. But like just the people that still have masks, there's like some that still have it, but then like the ones that like have it and then it's like on their chin, I'm just like, what are you doing? I'm just like, you're just looking goofy.
Yeah. Or if you have your nose totally exposed, you definitely just look like a goofball if you're doing that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. For me, it's just like the polite thing to do. Just seems for me to be to wear it everywhere. But like obviously, like I'm not gonna try to make other people feel bad about not wearing it. Like if you're vaccinated and that's what they're saying, then you know, I guess you do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's just really weird to navigate, and like I feel like we'll remember this for the rest of our lives just because it was so odd to live through. And I mean, I've got survivor's guilt for sure after having COVID and beating it, and it's just such a weird time, especially like Roger and I just graduated as COVID hit and we didn't get a ceremony, we didn't get to see any of our peers after March. So
it's when I was locked up in the house.
Super weird. And I'm normally an introvert anyways, so being inside isn't anything I'm not used to, but it's like those social interactions I crave and I like depend on them to feed me through like the next week, you know what I mean? Because I feel like this podcast is definitely going to help with that as well as we're getting into more normalcy. We're also establishing like some communication where we're socializing and talking about the things that we care about in a way that hopefully other people can relate to and enjoy listening to our perspectives on.
Yep.
For sure.
And on that note, I think our second episode is completed. So if you guys don't have anything else to add, I can go ahead and wrap it up. But feel free to plug anything you want and sign off.
Yeah, well, there's my Twitter at there now. Oh, this corner. Yeah, we got all those up here, so feel free to hit a follow if you want some bad content.
Yeah. Right there, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
Yep, hit me up everywhere. PatG563, Pat G on Spotify and Apple Music if you're looking for my music. And just make sure you're keeping up to date with the podcast at Boom Bat Bros anywhere you find media. Thank you everybody for listening or watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Yeah.